state game will be an 8 o'clock start in Tallahassee the following week. I'll turn it over to Coach.
Okay, well, first of all, we're 2-0 and off to a good start, so we're excited about that. And the biggest thing for me is I just want to see us continue to improve and get better as a team each week. That's coming into this season. I really felt like that we were probably going to be 3, 4, 5 weeks before I felt we could really settle in. And that's kind of where we are right now. We're coming off a game where we got to play a lot of people, a lot of corrections. Good opportunity to grow our team, and I think we got another opportunity this week to hopefully grow our team a little bit more. And Furman, I'm very impressed with Furman. Watching him on tape, first of all, I got a ton of respect for Coach Fowler. He's a really good guy. And, they're playing very hard. I know they're 0-2, but if you really watch the games, they could very easily be 2-0. It's been two. They've been on the wrong end of the deal last couple of weeks. Really tough loss at Sanford, and a very hard fought ball game, 24-21, and then they obviously just triple overtime loss to Coastal. They've turned the ball over. I'm sure Coach Fowler will probably tell you that. They've turned it over quite a bit, and that's hurt them. But this is a football team that's very capable. No doubt about it. Very well coached, know what they're doing. Offensively, they want to run the ball. They do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of things. Heck, they went down to Florida last year, the last game of the season, I think, for them. And I think they put up about 35 points on them. They went to the triple option and went up and down the field about 500 yards of offense. So, that was kind of out of their element at the time. So a lot of things we got to prepare for in this game, but they do a really good job. But they do want to run the ball, and it's an area of improvement that's much needed on our team. So I look forward to that matchup and challenge. Their defense is an athletic group. I think they're more athletic than Ball State. The front is a very experienced group. All the starters are back. They got 8 starters back on defense. I think we got 7 seniors in that group and 3 juniors, and they're 2 deep over there. So a very experienced group over there. Know what they're doing, and we got to do a good job, play well. The big thing for us is we're back at home. It's 3 o'clock kickoff, or 3:09, I think is the official kickoff time. And hopefully it'll be a great crowd. I think this is a great opportunity for our people in our state, the Furman folks, Clemson. This is a fun game to be a part of. And I've been in a couple of these since I've been here. I really anticipate probably having a really big crowd here. And last week was great. Again, just really appreciate our fans for the great job that they do in creating a good environment for us. And I look forward to that again this Saturday. And again, have a great crowd. And then the last thing, just to, obviously a reminder to everybody that today is 9/11, and I'm sure everybody in this room remembers exactly where you were and what you were doing. 11 years ago. I certainly do, and it's something I'll never forget. And, it's something that our country should never forget. You think about these seniors or these freshmen on this team. I guess they were like 7 years old. And it's kind of puts it in perspective. But I know there's a lot of people out there that this day brings back some really difficult times and thoughts. And so our prayers are with those people. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Well, Dabo, you just touched on it. Where were you on 11 years ago on this day? You were between Alabama and Clemson at the time. You were out coaching.
That was my first season out of coaching. Driving from Tuscaloosa, I was still living in Tuscaloosa, and I was driving to Birmingham. I was listening to the radio, just driving to Birmingham and going to work. Came over, I'll never forget, they interrupted on the radio and we were talking about it. At first, I'm like, dang it, somebody crashed the plane. And, it was a plane crash, just like a normal plane crash. That was kind of the assumption. And then I remember when I got to work, There's a lot of buzz going on, and everybody was talking and put it up on, put it on the screen. Another plane comes in, and I remember everything just shut down. I mean, there was just nothing. I mean, everybody just shut down, and we just sat there mesmerized and watched a TV all day long and all night long. I remember, and nobody really knew what was going on. You know, it was just a surreal moment in my lifetime and in our country's lifetime. And to, I'm sure when Pearl Harbor happened, that was probably similar in some regards, but we didn't have the technology that we have now. Now you like living through it together. You're not there, but you see it, and it was just an incredible time. And I remember, because at that time I was doing a lot of traveling, and y'all remember they shut down all flights. You couldn't fly anywhere. You couldn't do anything. So it was just a really difficult time in our country's history, and again, something I'll never ever forget. Pretty good. I'm pretty optimistic with those guys as far as their availability for this weekend. But probably, tomorrow night, after I see them today, see them tomorrow, when I get with you guys tomorrow night, I'll be able to give you a little bit better status update on what I think this weekend. But I was pretty optimistic yesterday. Today and tomorrow will be physical days.
Coach, can you talk about just the return of Sammy Watkins into the lineup now, and have you sensed the excitement maybe in his face and his expressions now, knowing it's finally game week for him?
Yeah, he's excited. He really is. I mean, and I tell you, he's had such a great attitude. He's been a great example to his teammates on, handling things the right way. And, he's a part of our leadership group. And when I met with those guys yesterday, that's what I told him. I was like, all right, we're 2-0, Sammy, don't mess it up. He just kind of grinned, So I would think you'll see him pretty early, show up pretty soon. I don't think it'll take him long to get back going. And he needs to play a good bit. He needs to play and really, not that he's practiced, he's done everything, but he needs to just get that good game under his belt, like these guys have gotten. So I look forward to really having him back out there. And it was good to have him with us last weekend on the sideline. That was good to see him out there.
When he plays, do you have a range of touches you'd like to see him have?
Not really. I mean, we just know who needs to get it, and we keep a touch chart on the sideline. And it's something that I pay attention to pretty closely, by quarter. And from time to time, I'll see it and say, hey, you know what? Let's make sure this next drive here, let's make sure we get such and such a couple touches here, and but it's usually not an issue. He's usually pretty much in the forefront of all of our thoughts. He's a special player. I think he's going to return. He's going to do all that stuff. He'll return punts, return kicks, do everything.
Coach, how do you approach, obviously the Florida State kick's already been announced, 8 o'clock national TV. How do you make sure your team's focused on this Saturday?
Well, that's something that, we talk about. It's not, you can't just address that now. I mean, that's something you have to address in the off season, in the fall camp, and when you're meeting with your guys. You try to prepare for those situations and get your team to learn to focus on today. Today's Tuesday. It's Tanoga Tuesday. Win today. That's what today's focus is. And get this segment of the game plan down, and we'll go to tomorrow. We talk to them a lot about not looking ahead. When you do that, you falter. Great teams don't do that. Just like I told you last week, great teams show up and they take care of their business. Great teams play to a standard, not an opponent. That's why I was really anxious to see. I'm sure there were a lot of people that expected us to be flat last week, expected us to struggle, whatever. But this team and the culture of our program, I think that we've matured in a lot of those ways. Your leadership is key. That's why you have leadership. That's why you develop leadership on your team. Is to keep guys focused on the task at hand. You don't want to get 12 Saturdays. So, you know, and perfect examples, you know, and I gave these to our team. I mean, listen, hey, y'all remember a couple of years ago, Virginia Tech lost to James Madison and went on to win 11 games. I think that's right. I think they went on to win 11 games. And, you know, so probably cost them a shot at the national championship or a piece of it or a chance to play for it. You know, everybody remembers Michigan and App State. The 1AA team goes up to Michigan, was 5th in the country. You know, this team right here, Furman, put 35 points, almost 500 yards of offense on Florida. You know, not even a year ago. Okay, and they got a bunch of guys back. So, you know, those are things that you just remind them. But to be honest with you, I really don't worry about that with this team. I mean, and I told them that. I told them that last weekend. I was going to be really disappointed. I was anxious to see them play, to see if we are maturing as a program. And you know, so I was really excited at halftime, you know, because we had gone out and really taken full control of that game and be able to start just playing a lot of people and all that kind of stuff was good. And hopefully, you know, this will be a game where again, you know, we're not worried about who we're playing or what division they are or whatever. Let's just play to our standard. It's about Clemson. Let's do our job to the best of our ability. If we do that every week and prepare the same every week and stay focused on what we call our formula for success, then we're going to win a lot of games.
Dabo, as far as Sammy goes, punting especially, are you going to have him back there returning punts? And
Yeah.
what would it mean to the special teams as well?
Well, I don't know how much it's going to mean to punt return because we can't ever get a return. You know, there's very few punt returns in the game today. Most people have gone to the shield type punt, and it's just you don't get many opportunities. But certainly, when he gets one, you know, it'll mean a lot. He's a great player. And same thing on kick return. I mean, he'll be back there. I doubt many people will purposely kick it to him. But if they do, you know, we got a great chance of a big play. You know, he'll have a little bit more rope than maybe the other guys right now from a decision-making standpoint. You know, as far as what that cutoff is, where he can bring it out. But I don't know how. You know, that's the one thing about this rule. You know, that I don't like. You know, I know just here at Clemson, you think about all the great plays that we've had here, even in the last decade here with, you know, Justin Millers and Derek Hamiltons and C.J. Spiller and Jacoby Ford, and just great kickoff returns. You know, a lot of those would never happen with this rule.
If you notice, I know we worked with the scout team, you're saying, the last few weeks. Have you noticed him still though engaged in the day-to-day? What's happening offensively?
Yeah, he's been great. Yeah, he's been great. He worked the week before game week and then game week. He worked 2 weeks over on the scout team when we went really all at camp. He was just like he was gonna play, and you know, and then last week as well. You know, we got that plugged in. He's doing good. Knows his stuff. Very smart player. Very smart player. Sammy is, and that's why he had such great success last year early. He just gets it. He's an easy guy to prepare.
Coach, you mentioned the maturity of this football team. Was there a single player or group of guys that maybe helped Sammy through this process, knowing he was going to miss the first 2 games and just going through what he went through over these last few months?
I think just all of his teammates in general. I mean, you know, these guys support each other. You know, it's a family. It's a family. And any family, my family, any of y'all's family, we all have issues from time to time that you got to deal with. And sometimes you don't like what people's decisions were or what the mistakes they made, but you love them anyway, and you try to deal with it and help them. That's what this team does. They've been there for him from day one. It's really not been a distraction at all.
Can this offense be even more explosive with the addition of Watkins? I have to imagine it's going to help a team that's already pretty dynamic offensively, especially with Coach Dabo.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really like our players. I mean, Sharon Pete's been great. He's off to an excellent start. He's gonna be a great player. Adam Humphries, same thing. Really good football player that we really think a lot of. All those guys have made plays. Martavis Bryant led our team in all-purpose yards this past weekend. Rushing, receiving, returning, and it's good to see him, get on the board and have a nice touchdown play. Obviously, Nuke has been unbelievable. Ron, he's just steady Eddie, and you always count on him. So, all those guys have performed well. So, they're just a close group. Sammy, yeah, you plug one of the best players in the country back on the field, there's a pretty good chance that good things can happen. No doubt about that. So we're not disappointed that he's back.
You touched on it earlier about the run defense. You got a challenge this week. You want to see how they respond. I think Sean yesterday said that what he saw in the film was it's just them making a lot of mistakes more than the other team. Is that what you see?
First of all, I don't take anything away from Ball State. Those two backs they have are really good players. I mean, above average players. A lot of us missed on that number 32. I don't think he had any offers out of North Carolina. And let me tell you, there's a bunch of schools that would love to have that guy on their team. He is a really good football player, a very determined runner. I'm a fan of his, and him Ford was a freshman. And we were impressed with him, what we've seen on tape. But the big thing is, again, we've got to fit things right defensively. When you've got teams that are really running power football at you, you've got to be in the right gaps. And we just have some very fundamental things that are very correctable. And we've improved a lot. But in the run game, it only takes 3 or 4 plays. And next thing you know, you've had a bad day. And so we've got to correct that. And if the guys, they want to be good, that's what I like. They're very used, like yesterday morning at 6:30, they're in there and they're dialed in, and they want to correct things. And, this is a young group of football players on the defensive side. A bunch of young guys hearing things, learning things, seeing themselves for the first time a lot on film, and so they're just going to get better. There's no doubt about it, because but we're talented over there, and as long as they'll keep the right kind of attitude and we'll learn and grow from mistakes. Just Deshaun, the guy you just mentioned, he didn't play very good versus Auburn. Kind of spurted, but he can play pretty good this past week. He improved tremendously, and that's what we want to see. Just see guys get better. But first half we played really well. First 40-something plays in the game, defensively played really well. We had that one big play, and that was backer didn't fit over the top and get his gap. And next thing you know, it creases you. And had a DB that was backpedaling instead of triggering and cutting down the space. And, you get a good back, that kind of space, it's usually going to be a big play. But they responded and did some good things, and then we ended up playing a lot of people. So, we're going to improve. I don't have any doubt about it.
Dabo, 55 plays in the first half. Last week, 87. Week 1. What's the conditioning level of this team to where it was 2-3 years ago?
Oh, yeah, we're a different group from where we were 3 years ago. There's no question, because we practice different. I mean, everything has to be different from a conditioning standpoint. To run this system, you have to practice this way, all the time. You can't just practice at a certain tempo and then get in the game and expect to flip the switch. So that's been the biggest thing. Mentally, they understand a lot more than they did last year at this time. But I've been pretty pleased with our conditioning and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's held up pretty good.
The training table, has that made any impact that you've seen or any of the other nutrition?
No, it hadn't been long enough. It's going to make an impact. It's going to make a huge impact. We just don't have it right yet. Right now it's just a nice facility over there. We haven't hired a nutritionist yet. We're in the process. Hopefully we're going to have that done here in the next any moment, really, to be honest with you. And, Terry Dunn is talking about hiring a chef as well, which would be a great addition. And, but we're still doing 1 meal a day. But it was a great thing for us during training camp. Awesome. Just having this facility, the convenience of it, it was top notch, first class. But once you start school, the NCAA rules kick in as far as what you can do. And so right now we can just do 1 meal in our facility, and until we kind of get this nutritionist person in place, we're kind of at the mercy of Airmark and all that kind of stuff. And they do a great job for us, but it'd be nice when we have somebody who can really just kind of be on top of that every single day. And that's actually what I'm hoping, and one of the things that's really up for discussion in college football right now. Obviously there's a lot of deregulation talk going on, and the training table is one of those areas, which to me is a no-brainer. I don't understand it. We overtrain them and we undernourish them. I've never understood that. So I'm hopeful that maybe that gets corrected at some point, and training tables, like I got under, can come back, and guys can eat, 3 meals a day, and we can feed them, to the best of our capabilities, because it is a huge part of their performance. It's a huge part of not only their performance on the field, it's a huge part of their performance academically. And, when the NCAA rules changed all that stuff and did away with training tables, and, they're kind of at the mercy, and I think that's hopefully something that we've learned has been counterproductive to. I don't make those decisions, but it sounds like that's one of the areas where there might be some relief for these athletes. And it's what's best, it's in the best interest of the players, so hopefully that'll happen.
Did think that there were too many programs at a competitive disadvantage? Is that why?
I guess, I guess that was, it was back when, probably, I guess, early 90s, when all that stuff started coming out. They did away with dorms, and it was all competitive advantage, trying to create a fair playing field. Did away with the dorms. They wanted to integrate the athletes more into the student body, population, all that stuff. And that's fine, but I just, and again, that decreases your opportunity to, watch over them, if you will. Not that you didn't ever have problems when you had a dorm, but you had somebody living there. It was a lot more controllable as opposed to when you just have, guys living wherever. And I think there's been some positives, but the training table part, I've never understood that. I've never understood that at all. And again, part of it too, was to integrate the athletes into the student population. So they just had to go and eat wherever. And I just don't think that's ideal. When you're talking about got people that have to perform at a high level, athletically and academically, I just think we're doing a disservice when we can't monitor that like we need to, and provide them what because their needs are different. Their needs are different than just a normal person's needs. When you're training like they train, spending the energy and calories like they do, I certainly think that's an area that we've missed we just missed the bar on, and hopefully that's something that will improve it. But what we have is what we have, and so we have to make the best of the situation. That's what we got to do. It is what it is, and I think that we've tried to do that the past 3 years since I've been here. We've tried to make it a good situation where everybody. Part of it is I want them to eat together. I think that's one of the things that got lost when all that stuff went away. Guys don't know each other like they used to, because they spend all their time with their segment. And they go to practice and they leave because they don't live together, they don't eat together. And so that was probably the first thing I changed when I got this job that fall of '09. is we started having one meal a day together, because the rules allow that. And it's been one of the best things that we've done, because it's helped us to grow as a team. You know, the offensive linemen to know the DB, and the coaches to be able to interact with them in a different environment than a meeting room or practice field. To just have that time, I think it's been great. So, you know, and now that we have this facility, and we can do the one meal, it needs to be the best that it can be. And so hopefully that's where we're heading, with getting this nutritionist in place, and you see that in a lot of our competitors. You know, that's an area that we got to continue to get better.
Besides Sammy's going and seeing improvement against the run, what other areas would you like to focus on this week?
Penalties. You know, we're the most penalized team in the game Saturday, and we had 7 penalties, and got to improve. You know, one of our components to our plan to win, if you will, is to be the least penalized team. And you know, we were the highest, and we were a superior team, and we were able to overcome that. But we're not going to always be a superior team. There's going to be a lot of games where it's going to be pretty even. And those missed assignments and penalties and turnovers get you beat. And so those are definitely an area that we've got to improve. And a lot of them, you know, you're going to have a pass interference from time to time. You're going to have a physical penalty, but it's the pre-snap stuff. We've had a couple weeks now where we've had a few of those that we got you know, jumping off sides on defense, not being set on offense. You know, those are things that we just cannot have. We got to be 100% with our center quarterback exchange. You know, we've had a couple of bobble balls. You know, he's got to finish everything with his eyes. Sometimes he'll have a tendency to, you know, start reading his keys as opposed to, let's finish the first part of this deal here, and let's secure the ball. So we had one with Ellington. So we've got to be 100% in the center quarterback exchange. Those are some basic things that have to be corrected, so that we don't cost ourselves a big on the road. And drops, you know, drops. A few too many drops. I know we played a lot of guys and all that stuff, but you know, we got to make the routine catches all the time.
Do you hope also to have another week where you can get Ellington out of the game early?
I mean, it'd be great, ideal world, but you know, again, that's we can't go into any kind of game assuming anything like that. We got to go. We're coming to win and to play the very best that we can possibly play. If it works out and that happens, great. But you can't go into any game assuming that. You know, we hope we were going to be able to wrestle people against Wofford last year too. I think we all remember that. You know, this is a team that this is a big deal for Furman to be able to come to Clemson. A lot of these players that have an opportunity to play in Death Valley and to play Clemson is a big deal. You know, Wofford came in here last year, same thing, very well coached, just like this team is, and it was all we wanted, and then some. And I'd be very surprised if Furman, you know, doesn't really give us a challenge. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to hear that and don't believe that, but this is a team that's going to play with a ton of toughness and a ton of pride, and you know, we're going to have to play well.
How would you evaluate Pinion's debut, and do you see maybe this week maybe he and Spencer splitting the kickoff and Sunny jobs as a possibility?
I thought Pinion did an excellent job. The answer to the other question is no. You know, Spencer is the starter, has won the job, and has been the most consistent guy. We're excited about Pinion, and Spencer has to continue to perform. The competition will go on. It's not like it's just you got a lifetime starter contract here. You got to perform every single week, so that's an ongoing deal. But you know, I've been really pleased with Spencer. All of us have. But it was good to get Pinion out there. Now, having said that, if the opportunity presents itself, absolutely, we'll get Pinion in there. That's something we want to do all year. We want to be able to get him opportunities to play whenever we can, because we're excited about him, and it gives us a guy that will be coming back next year that's played. that's been in big games. So, you know, when we run out to play Georgia next year for the opener, it won't be the first time he's ever, you know, been in a game. So that's a real positive. But we really like what we got in our kicking situation. I mean, Ammon Lathrop is another one. You know, we want to try to give him as many opportunities as we can throughout this season. He's another one that has got a lot of potential, and he can kick off. He's obviously a field goal guy. Next year he'll probably be a backup punter as well.
Coach, along those same lines, how important is this type of game then to try to incorporate a lot of players in the depth chart just to get them those experiences early on in their